Yo, what's up? Today's video is going to be a little different. Now, I wanted to give you a tour of my entire studio because this is where I make YouTube videos and it's where I stream on Twitch. But we haven't finished setting up my wife's desk, and I want to wait till we finish with that before I show you the whole room. So instead, today I'm just going to show you my desk. Now, this is going to give me an opportunity to review the Uplift desk that I recently got, and it's going to give you an idea of what I like to use on a day-to-day basis. So, let's get to it. First thing I wanted to talk about was the desk itself. This is an Uplift standing adjustable desk. Now, Uplift did send this to me because they wanted to work with me on my last video where I did a lot of stretches for standing desks that gamers and office workers could do. But the fact that I got this for free is not going to affect anything I have to say about it. There are things I like about it and there are things I don't like about it, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. Whether you choose to believe that, I don't know. I can just tell you that anything that I say on this channel is always going to be my honest opinion because I don't really have anything else, right? This desk is pretty wide. It's about 72 inches wide, and I wanted it to be as wide as my previous desk because I have a lot of stuff to fit on it. I do streaming and I play video games all the time, and I'm at this desk pretty often, and it needed to be big enough to house everything that I use, and I have to say, it's perfect for me. I feel like I have a lot of space, both width and depth wise, and I don't feel like I need any more space. The only thing that I kind of miss is my old desk used to have these cabinets on either side, and I really miss that storage space. But Uplift does have storage solutions. I didn't get them. I can adjust this desk with this control unit over here, and I can do that manually, or I can use different presets. There are 4 presets, and I can adjust them, or I can assign them to different heights and just go to them immediately. So if I want to go to standing mode, I can press 3, which is what I set it to, and it'll go exactly where I set it last time and saved it. So that's super nice because I don't have to fidget with it to get that perfect height. But if I do want to adjust it for whatever reason, I can just do so manually with the arrows. So I can bring it a little bit lower, or I can bring it a little bit higher. This is perfect for me because I find myself switching back and forth. I set some timers on my Stream Deck, which I'll get to in a little bit. It's just been really convenient. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the computer itself. Now, I built this computer a few years ago, but it's still doing me pretty well. It has an Intel i7-7700K inside of an NZXT case. It's a 1080 Ti, has 32 gigs of RAM, has a 500 gigabyte SSD and a 5 terabyte hard drive. The cooler, I don't think I mentioned that, it's the NZXT cooler as well. Aside from all that, it's got a crap ton of lights in it. I use a cam link for one of my cameras, and I use the Elgato 4K 60 Pro for my main camera. I have 2 capture cards because when I stream, I usually use 2 camera angles, or if I'm doing VR, I'm going to be using a second camera to capture that against a green screen over here. I really love this computer. It definitely feels like I want to upgrade some stuff about it, but for right now, it's been doing pretty well. That is going to be connected to my 2 monitor setup. Now, I have 2 27-inch monitors. It is a 1440p monitor. This one is my main monitor that I game on, and it goes up to 165 hertz. It has G-Sync, and I really love it. This one is just some crappy monitor that I bought at the store because I just needed a second monitor to have other stuff on. It's 1080p. I don't even know what the refresh rate is. It looks like garbage, but it works for what I need it for. They're both mounted onto arms. These are just arms that I got on Amazon. I don't think that they're really fantastic, but they hold my monitors up. And it's kind of important because when you go from standing to sitting, you really want to be able to adjust the monitor height to be appropriate for what position you're in. And this allows me to do that. I will say that as much as I love this desk, it does seem to wobble a lot. Now, I don't know if that's the desk or if that's just the low quality mounts that I have it on. These are not the monitor arms that Uplift provides, and I didn't ask for them because I already had some and I didn't want to seem greedy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to solve this problem. It's not super major, and obviously I'm never sitting at my desk doing this, but sometimes when I move or when I'm typing furiously, I do kind of notice that the monitor's moving a little bit. It hasn't bothered me too much, but it is worth mentioning. Again, I don't know if I should blame the desk or if I should blame the monitor arms. One of the things I really like about this desk are the pass-through holes that they put. I think those are optional, but I definitely opted for them with the kind of cover that allows you to just kind of put your cables through. Now, all my cables, I have a lot of cables. I have a lot of equipment here, and it all comes with a cable. And they're all being passed through to the bottom of the desk through that, and it lets me keep everything nice and tidy, and I just don't have a bunch of cables draped over the back of the desk. So that's super nice. They also make different ones where you can put a plug there, and I could actually plug things into the desk, like for power. One of the last things I wanted to say about my monitors, I get a lot of comments asking where I get my different wallpapers that I have in my videos, and to be honest, a lot of them just come from Wallpaper Engine that you can find on Steam, including these, which I think are really funny. I'm a huge anime nerd, and you probably see little bits of that in the background of videos and stuff, or on stream, because I talk about it a lot. Now, moving on to my mice. I recently got a Logitech G Pro wireless, and I absolutely love it. It was recommended by a friend of mine. I really don't have very many complaints about it. It's super light. I've been using it to play mostly FPS games. My previous mouse was another Logitech, but it was the G900. I really liked it. I had it for a few years, and I kind of wanted to try something else. My keyboard is... So I'm a keyboard nerd. A long time ago, or maybe a few years ago, I got into mechanical keyboards, and it was like a rabbit hole that I just dove right into. And then when I got to the bottom of that rabbit hole, I found another rabbit hole labeled artisans, and I started collecting artisans as well. My main keyboard is usually an M65 by RamaWorks, and I have lubed Holy Pandas on there on a brass plate with hyperfuse key set and a bunch of artisans, but unfortunately the USB connector on that keyboard broke, and I'm unable to use it right now until I fix it. So F in the chat for that. Until I fix that, my main keyboard has been an HHKB. I liked smaller keyboards, so I like the 60 and 65% keyboards, and I like tactile switches as well. I love this keyboard. I love the sound of it. The switches are lubed. It has a custom key set by Mitched Caps, and it has an artisan that matches that. Well, technically the key set matches the artisan, but this artisan is by Nightcaps, and I love it. It's also connected to my computer with a custom Zap Cables cable that I had made a while back, so I really enjoy that. If I'm not using this, like if I need to use another keyboard for whatever reason, I actually use this one, which is a KVD75. The M65 I soldered and made myself. These keyboards, like this one you buy pre-made obviously, and this one was built by someone else, not me. It has custom Zelio Stottle switches, a Miami key set, which I really like. I hate the way it sounds, but it's kind of just preference, right? Some people like super clicky switches. I just kind of grew out of it. This keyboard pretty much just exists to be my home for all these Miami artisans that I've collected over the years. I have a ton of art from different amazing artists. A lot of them are friends. A lot of them I traded and sold caps to get and bought them. So if you're not into mechanical keyboards, this might seem completely foreign to you. This is like a rabbit hole within a rabbit hole. It gets super expensive, and if you're gonna get into it, just prepare your wallet. The next important part of my setup is going to be the audio. I actually went to college for recording music. Audio is kind of something that I take pretty seriously. For a microphone, I'm using a Shure SM7B. I really love it, and I think it suits my voice really well. And it's connected to my desk with a Rode PSA-1 boom mic stand arm. I do like this, but there's some things that kind of bother me when I'm adjusting it, but for the most part, it does what it needs to do. Now that is running into a Go XLR, and if you watch any streamers, you've probably seen this at some point. The Go XLR is like an audio interface, and it really allows me to do so much, and it makes setting up my audio for stream completely like an afterthought. It makes everything so easy. It has motorized faders, so I can adjust everything. I can save profiles so that the next time I stream, all I have to do is load the profile and all my audio adjustments are just snap into place. It has a voice modulator, so I can get pretty creative and do weird, funny stuff on stream. It has an on-the-fly sampler. It has some features that I don't really use, like a sensor button and then an overall mute as well. I really enjoy this. It's strong enough to power this microphone without a cloud lifter. I absolutely love it. When I'm streaming, I also, well, not just when I'm streaming, but just in general, I use these headphones. They are dynamic DT880s. I always forget the name of them. These sound really great, but it's a wired headset. It's not really like a gaming headset. It's more of a listening to music headset. I really like them. They're comfortable, even though I will say that I have really huge ears and the cups inside them are not shallow, or I'm sorry, they're not deep enough to really accommodate these gigantic Dumbo ears of mine. So they can get kind of uncomfortable after long use, and I'm looking to replace them actually pretty soon with some wireless headphones, because the last thing that I like dealing with when I'm streaming is just a wire that's connected to my desk. And then underneath that, I have this little headphone holder. It's called the Trident, and it just holds my headphones. It's really useful, it's cheap, it does what I need it to do. A couple of little details that I wanted to touch on. When I play a game that requires a controller, I have this Xbox Elite controller. It's a controller. It does what it needs to do. It's nice, it feels nice, it's held up well. And then over here, I use an Elgato Stream Deck. This is another one of those pieces of gear that once you use it, you'll just wonder how in the world did I stream without it before this. It has a bunch of highly customizable buttons that you can pretty much adjust or assign to just about everything you want. I use it to control OBS when I'm streaming. I also use it to control my media. It has something to control the lights in here, well, the Philips Hue lights that I use. It's a game launcher, and then aside from that, it actually allows me to control my lights. So this Elgato key light up here is adjustable with my Stream Deck, which kind of brings me to my next thing, which is lighting. I have an Elgato key light that I use over here, which is kind of like a fill light. And then I have this monstrosity. There's two parts to it. There's an Aperture 120D Mark II, which is like a professional light, and that's gonna be behind that. This giant dome is just a diffuser, and it's a light dome too by Aperture as well. This is completely overkill for Twitch. I bought it for YouTube videos. Might as well use it for Twitch as well. Now, I feel like lighting is kind of a signature look for my YouTube videos and for my stream. And aside from these two big white lights, I have a lot of little RGB lights everywhere. And it's actually kind of funny. Because I have so many lights, I have an abundance of little remotes to control everything. So, just to give you an idea, let me show you this. For this big white light, I have this remote. For this Elgato, I use my Stream Deck. For the little RGB lights, which by the way are just like outdoor RGB floodlights that I just got on Amazon, I have this remote for the blue ones. So there's one over here and there's two over here. And then for this big purple light that kind of covers like a large area, I have this remote. So what is that, like 5 remotes just to turn on all the lights in this room? Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. I don't know. I get a lot of questions about the tiles that are on the wall and if they're soundproof and where I got them. They're just these Art3D diamond tile decorative tile things that I put on the wall with command strips. They do really nothing for the sound. They're not sound foam, but there is a layer of sound foam that goes around them. I just wanted something that spiced up the wall, and according to all the comments that I get, people seem to like it. I don't have a lot of decorations on my desk, but when I was in New York City at the Lego store, I actually made this little Lego version of my wife. And so she sits on the desk with me next to my Stream Deck. I don't know, I think it's cute. Moving underneath the desk, the motors are pretty quiet and they don't seem to struggle even with all of this stuff on my desk. I can raise this all the way up. This is as high as it goes. I am 5'11". This is the desk at its highest point. So I don't know when I would ever need this, but what this was good for, cable management. It makes cable management so easy because you don't have to be underneath the table like you're working on a car. I could literally just take my chair and roll it underneath this desk and just comfortably work on managing my cables. So I'm gonna show you that next. This Modesty panel is kind of genius, I think. It's not maybe the most elegant way of managing your cables, but it is definitely the easiest. This is just a really large mesh pouch that has these Velcro attachments. So what you do is you just undo the Velcro, stuff all your cables in there, and then just Velcro it back up. And it's so easy. I can't believe it took me not very much time at all. I just had to route all the cables in. They actually sell these power strips that you can clip onto the bottom of the desk. I got one of those. I spent a bunch of time clipping it to my desk and then plugging everything in. Now, I have a ton of stuff, but I've never had any power issues. But when I plugged it into the power strip that they supplied, it actually busted. It flipped the breaker and I had to go turn it back on. There was like a burning smell from the power strip. I was fried. I couldn't use it. It was kind of disappointing. So I just went back to the old power strip that I had, which works fine. Hasn't had any issues so far. That would be something that I would be careful of, and I don't think that I would recommend that power strip, even though it's so convenient to be able to clamp it to the bottom of the desk and it looks nice with the desk. For the amount of stuff, if you have a lot of stuff plugged in, for the amount of stuff that I have, it wasn't powerful enough, so I had to toss that out. Down here, I also have a footrest, which I think is kind of important. As you're adjusting your seat, you want to be able to sit comfortably with your feet on the ground. And if you're kind of short, to adjust your seat so that you are able to have your arms in the correct position on your desk, right? You're not too high, you're not too low. The amount that you're gonna have to adjust your desk or your seat, you may not be able to have your arms like that and your feet flat on the ground. So a footrest is really helpful, and it kind of gives you something to fidget on when you're sitting. It's just comfortable, and this is just one that I got off Amazon. Aside from that, I also have a foot pedal and I have a cat. This didn't come with the desk. It's a pretty good accessory. He likes to jump on the desk and make a mess and meow when I'm doing anything important, and he chews on everything. And really, if he wasn't so cute, I don't think I would recommend him, but it's part of the setup. I have this foot pedal that I got off Amazon. It's just a simple USB foot pedal. The reason I use this is because when I'm streaming and I'm also in a call on Discord, I don't want to bother the people that I am playing games with, because I don't want them to have to hear me talking to my chat constantly, because it's just kind of awkward. I've been really enjoying this. So I did forget something. I forgot my chair. It's a Secret Labs Titan, and I got it about 2 years ago. I did a full video review on it, so if you want to know what I think about it, you can check that out. Yeah, it's a chair. Some parting thoughts about the desk. I think that it's a fantastic desk. I think it's really high quality, but that high quality comes at a high price, and that's probably my biggest complaint about it. It's hard to recommend this desk to someone because I know how expensive it is. Now, mine was definitely more expensive when I built it out than the average desk because I got such a wide desk. Your average person probably doesn't need a desk this wide, but I have a lot of equipment attached to it, and I need a lot of space because I'm doing a lot of things on it when I stream. So it's expensive. That's my biggest complaint. If it's too expensive for you, but you want the quality of Uplift desk, they actually sell just the legs, and you can attach any tabletop to it that you want, and that will cut the price significantly. Also, just don't get a 72-inch wide desk and it won't be as expensive either. It came packaged really well, but it did have one ding in the side of it. I don't know if that just happened during shipping, but I had to mention it. The legs feel very sturdy. They don't seem to have any trouble lifting and lowering. They're pretty quiet, and it was pretty easy to put together. I wish I had more space when I did it, but again, that's just because the desk is so big. It didn't take me very long to set it up. The instructions were pretty non-existent. I don't know if they just forgot to package it, but I had to go online to look up the instructions. Not a big deal, but I would have expected some instructions in the box. It came with everything that I needed, the tools, the hardware. I didn't have to go out and buy anything, but that modesty panel that I installed on the back, I did have to drill holes into the desk to apply that, which I thought was weird. I thought there would have been pre-drilled holes to put that in there, but there wasn't. It's a great desk. I really love it. Thank you for coming along and taking a look at my setup. I'd love to see your setup, so go ahead and show me in the comments down below after you like this video and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next video. Let me know if you like this kind of thing. I could probably do a bunch of these because this whole room is kind of worth talking about. I don't know, do you guys want to see camera bag tours? Do you want to see what equipment I use to make YouTube videos or how I make YouTube videos? Just let me know in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. Peace. Also, I forgot my black robe and gold medallion, so if one of you brought an extra, I would really appreciate it. I know, I said I would never forget it again, but it's just been a hard day. Could you please just cut me some slack?